and welcome to GGSP. I'm Rad. Well, now that we finally have some shiny new consoles to play with, we should probably play some games on them, right? So coming up today, we dive into the game that comes with every PS5, the adorable platformer Astros Playroom. Plus, we slide through some sludge and tear up the tarmac in Dirt 5. New consoles! Think of all the games we'll play and all the good times we'll have together. But that does mean it's time to put my old consoles out of commission. I guess I'll do the only responsible thing one should do with an old console, next to recycling, of course. Darren? Initiate the launch sequence! Thank you for your service, PS4 and Xbox One. Godspeed. Now let's start the show.
Astros Playroom is a cute little platformer that comes pre-installed on every PlayStation 5. It's basically PlayStation the video game. Chance to play a bit of this last week during my hands-on with the PS5. But now I've had time to sit down and take in everything it has to offer, as well as dive into some of the cool new features of the console itself. This is the perfect welcome to your new console experience. But it's no simple tech demo, it's actually a great platformer. It's only a few hours long, but Astro's Playroom is full of charm, fun ideas, collectibles, and enough challenge to keep you on your toes. I remember thinking, oh, this lovely beach area looks like a super easy, chilled out tutorial zone, and then was promptly insta-killed. The game is broken down into 4 main worlds, each representing a certain aspect of the hardware. There's cooling springs, GPU jungle, SSD speedway, and memory meadows, all linked together with virtually no loading times by the CPU plaza. Don't expect to actually learn how consoles work though. I mean, I didn't pay the closest attention to Darren's How a Computer Works lessons, but I'm pretty sure he didn't mention that CPUs swim around in a giant fish tank. But you know what? I choose to believe that's true and little robots are actually running around inside my console and you can't tell me otherwise. What you will absolutely learn, however, is just how cool the new controller is. The improved haptic feedback throws a constant stream of new sensations at you. From individual raindrops and ice shards hitting an umbrella, to the wibbly swishiness of swimming or wading through shallow water, or the tautness of a spring shifting from side to side, or just the feel of Astro's footsteps on different surfaces. It all has a unique feel that's believable. The speaker in the controller also sounds a lot beefier now too, and works with those little motors to really sell their various effects. You'll also be making good use of the motion controls to do things like steer spaceships or swing a monkey. You'll blow into the new microphone to spin up pinwheels, while the touchpad also gets a workout too for controlling a big ball. For me though, the coolest part of the controller is the adaptive triggers. These things are just so satisfying to play with. While they can add resistance for things like feeling a bowstring get pulled tight, they can also do things like physically kick back when you're shooting a toy Gatling gun. But my favourite is when they give you something to squish. For example, there's a little toy dispenser machine that shoots out these balls to crack open, and the triggers give you a lot of resistance at first, until they burst, really giving that satisfying feeling of making something pop. I mean, if you've ever enjoyed popping bubble wrap, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's also interesting to see what they do for gameplay too. For example, in the monkey suit section, there are some delicate handholds that will break if you grip too tightly, but you can physically feel the exact point where you have to stop pulling the trigger. It's a mechanic that just wouldn't really work without those new triggers. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of games taking advantage of these new features because they really do add a great extra level of immersion, helping you feel like you can really feel the world around you. And I'll be honest, I half expect other console makers to steal some of these ideas because they are ideas worth stealing. It is worth mentioning though, you can turn them off at any point if you need to. The game really is a beautiful celebration of all things PlayStation. Throughout the levels, the Astrobots act in these adorable little scenes, recreating important games throughout PlayStation's history. And I always got a kick out of recognizing what games they were pretending to be in. Not to mention the cute little animations that play when you interact with them. Seriously, punch everything. There's also a whole heap of artifacts to collect, which show off the many bits of hardware Sony has released over the years. And these all get stored in a big interactive collection. And speaking of collecting things, this is where I got to try out the new activities feature of the PS5, which is something that'll make all you trophy hunters out there very happy. Basically, you can bring up the system menu and it'll show you what levels you haven't 100% completed yet. Then, if you're a PS Plus member, it will even load quick little videos that give you a hint of where to look for collectibles you've missed, which you can even pin to the side. And best of all, it lets you load up the nearest checkpoint in just a few seconds. Or if there's just a specific level you want to jump into, you can load it up right from the home menu. I go into the menu and select a level from Astros and bam! That SSD, oh boy, he's fast. And speaking of fast, there's also a speedrun mode, which has 8 specially designed levels to let you flex your speedrunning skills. It's a great little extra to give you some leaderboard chasing satisfaction. I also love that each level adds up to give you an overall time and ranking. And not to boast, but I'm currently ranked 15th in the world. Okay, yes, it's only out of 58 people, but come on, let me have this. Anyway, is it worth buying a PS5 for Astro? Probably not. I mean, it's likely you'll finish it in an afternoon. But it is an adorable and awesome freebie that actually felt like something new and interesting. Like a delicious next-gen appetizer before the main course of PS5 games to come. So I'm giving Astros Playroom 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens. Just look at my little robot children. So cute.
Welcome! We've got all sorts of gaming news to round up for you this week and present to you on the silver platter that is the scoop. So let's begin. First up, a recent Among Us update has introduced anonymous voting for an extra layer of intrigue, alongside some fixes and improvements. Developer Inner Sloth also revealed plans for future updates, including a free new map with a new task type, a system to enable players to report troublesome accounts, colorblind support, and more language accessibility. Oh, I hope they add a French Perth translation. Moving along now to news that farming sim RPG, My Time at Porsche, is getting a sequel. My Time at Sandrock will see you take on the journey of a new character, tasked with rebuilding a run-down, rugged mining town. Sandrock is said to bring improved graphics, gameplay systems and story to a whole new game, and is aiming for an early access release early in 2021. Rock on! On to something else now, and while next-gen consoles may be the hot gaming topic of the moment, the Raspberry Pi Foundation, makers of tiny single-board computers, has also served up another slice of hardware. The Raspberry Pi 400 is a pint-sized, self-contained computer built into a keyboard. Just like some of the home computers of the 1980s. And while it may not run all the latest next-gen games, it certainly offers up opportunities to learn game making and programming. Raspberry Pi has got to be one of my favourite kinds of pie, along with apple and, of course, the ratio of the circumference of a circle to the diameter of that circle. And in other news, there's some more new stuff for Fall Guys fans, with a new update called Fan Big, Yeet Little. It brings with it a new stage filled with fans, as well as the younger sibling of giant mallet Big Yeetus, known as Lil Yeety. Lil Yeety is a tiny hammer who'll be yeeting about in stages to create a lil extra chaos. And now it's time for the Extra Scoop! And while gamers might be wondering when Microsoft Flight Simulator will come to Xbox Series X, one modder has instead brought the next-gen console to Microsoft Flight Simulator. A player known as Ogaz modeled a giant Xbox Series X structure and inserted it into the game at the location of Microsoft's headquarters in Redmond, Washington, USA. Oh, well, that's all the gaming news we have on the menu for this week. Until we scoop again, see you later, fans of data. Oh, that's one for the data fans.
Dirt 5 is here and is making a bit of a change to the often grounded rally franchise by diving headfirst into a more arcade-focused campaign. From the off, career mode throws you into a festival-like tour with grids of events to burn through. There's some variation between events, but it generally boils down to a messy and fast race against your opponents. And there's never a dull moment or track in this tour across the globe, as we're taken to some seriously awesome locations. Like a frozen lake beneath the Roosevelt Bridge or the bamboo forests of China. Throw in a dynamic weather and time of day system, and your races can turn from a bright, dry, simple stroll to a dark, rainy slip and slide. I cannot understate how hard it was to put this game down. Just one more race! Plus, to keep things interesting, there's actually a little bit of player choice. With one big end of tour race in sight, you can actually pick and choose which races you want to do to get there. But I was having so much fun that I did everything. And whilst there is only one real activity to do here, being racing, there is some variation with each event having its own class of cars to pick from. From the humble off-roader to this tractor monster truck kind of thing. Thankfully, Dirt 5 actually gives you a car up front for each class, so you won't need to grind through races to earn cash to buy new cars. You can even give your rides their very own livery. I went in with a snazzy GGSP splash of flavor. Not that it really mattered once you get on the track. My favorite color, mud. I had the chance to review this on the Xbox Series X, my first game on the next-gen console. Although by the time you watch this, it'll be a now-gen console. Wild. Plugging in the Series X into a 4K telly, it's startling just how much more detail there is. Reflections bounce off your car in the soaked mud, whilst realistic lighting pierces through the environment. But it's not all about the visuals. On the Series X, it's also a faster experience. Gone is that chunky load screen when you need to restart a race. Now you'll just zip back onto the start line with a quick press of a button. But I will admit, I found myself in pretty standard load times booting up the actual game, as well as initially loading into races. Not a big deal, but not always a noticeable improvement. But hey, there's more than enough here to distract old Will from those load times.
Donuts. Cars doing donuts.
In addition to career mode, there's also time trial and online play, but Dirt 5's biggest shakeup is Playgrounds mode. The level creator gives you an open arena, a toolbox of stunt and track pieces, and lets you go wild. There's game modes that can be applied to your creations too, giving them some extra flavor outside of a simple race. I personally found it more fun jumping into others' creations, specifically this version of Mario Kart's Rainbow Road. Still the worst. Plus, like Mario Kart, Dirt 5 also offers 4-player split screen, which is always welcome, especially in an arcade racer as fun as this. I have played many a racing game this year, and whilst this one doesn't do anything mind-blowing, it sticks to what it does best: dirty, fast, and fun racing. I've not had this much fun playing in Dirt in a long while, so I'm giving Dirt 5 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
So many questions! We've got questions coming in from every which way. I better hop to it, starting with this video from Oscar and Eleanor.
Hi GGSP, my name is Oscar. Here are some emoticons for Darren, and what are some good Mario games for the Nintendo Switch?
Hi GGSP, my name's Eleanor. What are some fun and funny animal games that you can play on the Nintendo Switch? P.S. Does Boatmeal like my dog Ben? Bye!
Thanks, Oscar and Eleanor. First things first, I better get Darren on the line for these emoticons.
Darren here!
Hey Darren, Rad here. Just have some sounds for you to make.
Oh, of course! It's a me, Darren! ASX Rebound! Stonks! GGSP! Wah!
Thanks, Daz. Oh, also, do you care to share some of your Mario picks for the Switch?
Oh, affirmative! I think Super Mario Odyssey is a good place to start. Such a joyful 3D Mario adventure. Oh, and the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection is worth playing for some classic 3D Mario experiences. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is also great, if you like the original side-scrolling Super Mario platforming style. Bing bing woohoo! It also has a co-op mode, so you can platform with a pal. Or there's Paper Mario, the Origami King, to play as Mario in a whole new crafty form, along with some clever dialogue and an interesting puzzle-based battle system. Also, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is truly excellent, and a great take on the turn-based strategy genre.
Oh, I love that one too, Darren. That has got to be my favorite of the bunch. Well, thanks for your insights.
No problemo. Bye-bye.
As for some fun and/or funny animal games on the Switch, well, I have to say Untitled Goose Game fits that bill. Get it? Bill? Because it's a goose, they have a bill? Plus, it now has a 2-player mode, so maybe you could team up together. Some others you might enjoy include Animal Crossing New Horizons, if you like your animals anthropomorphized. Oh, and there's also farming sims like Stardew Valley and My Time at Portia, which both feature farm animals and pets. Maybe Ultimate Chicken Horse for some party game fun, or Cat Quest 1 and 2, which are absolutely brimming with fun cat puns. As for whether Boatmeal likes your dog Ben, well, let's hear it straight from the dog's mouth, shall we? Boatmeal, up. Oh, what do you think of Ben? Oh, he said Ben looks like a very good boy. Now moving on to our next question, and here's a video from Aiden.
Hi GGSP, I've got 2 questions for you today. 1, I saw your review of Ori and the Will of the Wisps and it looked good, so I went and got the game and I really enjoyed playing it. So are there any other games like it that you would recommend? And 2, are they going to release another Ori game? Bye.
Thanks, Aiden. If you're looking for other games like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, well, it may be an obvious one, but if you haven't already played the first Ori game, Ori and the Blind Forest, then that is an absolute must. Otherwise, the recently released Evergate is very similar to the Ori games, especially in its visual style and character design. You might also like to check out The Last Campfire. It's similar in its heartfelt storytelling. Or maybe the charming platforming of Unravel 1 and 2. There's also the Metroidvania of Owlboy and the Guacamelee games, if you enjoyed this side of Ori. That is, gradually uncovering a map, returning to unlock new parts as you gather new abilities, and things like that. And if you're up for a challenge, Hollow Knight is another Metroidvania-style game with captivating art, rich lore, and moving music. It is fantastic, but it is tough, so be sure to bring your persistence pants. And if you like Hollow Knight, its sequel, Hollow Knight Silksong, is due out sometime soon. As for whether another Ori game is in the works, well, the developers Moon Studios have said that they don't have any solid plans for another one at this stage. But they have said they have left the door open for another Ori game of some sort in the future, depending on if the team feels like there's a fresh story to tell. Perhaps in the form of a prequel or spin-off? They've even said they'd be keen to see Ori as a fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That would be pretty cool, hey? Well, moving on to our last question, one quick video, and this one comes from Ned and Archie.
Hello GGSP, we've got one question for you today. What car games do you recommend for PS4?
Thanks, bye. And also, Darren, do these.
Oh, another one for Darren. I better get him on the line. It's a good thing we have free calls to each other.
Hello, hello!
Hey Darren, Rad here. Just some more emoticons from you, please.
Oh, my emoting is so popular. Sanguine, dividends, sadness.
Thanks, Darren. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, as for car games on the PS4, well, there's oodles of vroom options to choose from, depending on your preferred style of car game. The recently released retro-style racer, Hot Shot Racing, comes highly recommended. In fact, Will gave it 5 out of 5 rubber chickens. And Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered just came out as well. If that's anything like the original, it is sure to be awesome. Or if off-road rally racing is your thing, you might like Dirt 4, or its recently released sequel, Dirt 5. There's also some wacky destructive mayhem to be had in Onrush and Wreckfest. Or some time attack racing in Trackmania Turbo. And if you don't mind a few planes and boats in the mix along with the cars, there's the Crew 2 For some more straight-up racing goodness, you could check out Drive Club or Project Cars, or perhaps one of the recent Gran Turismo games for some serious sim racing. And it looks like we've crossed the finish line for another Ask SP. If you've got a question you'd like to ask us, go here to send it in. And remember, if it's a video question that we put on the show, you'll score some cool GGSP loot. But you better get in quick, because there's only 3 episodes left to go this year. Come on, quick, chop chop. Gotta get in there quick. Super speedy, zip zoop.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. But if you've got a bit of space left in your gaming tum-tum, make sure to jump on the ABC Me app to get your extra snack-size serving of GGSP. This week, Rad rolls out with the Autobots in the turn-based strategy of Transformers Battlegrounds. And make sure to tune in for next week's show. And maybe bring some adventure pants too, because we'll also be going on a journey in Sackboy: A Big Adventure. But until next time, may all your games be good ones. Gem out.
Rad out.
Will out.